Are you struggling with self-control and seeking a way to master it? We're delving into the profound teachings of Buddhism to uncover the secrets of mastering self-control. Lesson 1. Pick simple, clear, and achievable goals. Right intention is the commitment to cultivate wholesome thoughts and actions and to abandon unwholesome ones. It's the recognition that our thoughts and actions have a profound impact on our lives and the lives of others. Therefore, it's essential to set clear and achievable goals that are in alignment with our values and aspirations. Setting simple goals means focusing on one or two areas of improvement at a time. This is particularly important when it comes to self-control, as it can be overwhelming and counterproductive to try to tackle too many habits or behaviors at once. For example, if you want to improve your self-control over your eating habits, you might start by focusing on reducing your sugar intake. Once you've mastered this, you can move on to another area, such as portion control or mindful eating. Setting clear goals means defining exactly what you want to achieve and how you plan to achieve it. This helps to create a sense of direction and purpose and to motivate and sustain your efforts. For example, if your goal is to reduce your sugar intake, you might define this as follows. I will limit my sugar intake to no more than 25 grams per day. I will achieve this by avoiding sugary drinks, reading food labels, and replacing sugary snacks with healthier alternatives. Setting achievable goals means choosing goals that are challenging but realistic. This helps to build confidence and momentum, and to avoid the discouragement and frustration that can come from setting unrealistic or unattainable goals. For example, if you're currently consuming 100 grams of sugar per day, it might not be realistic to reduce this to 25 grams overnight. Instead, you might set a goal of reducing your sugar intake by 10 grams per week until you reach your target of 25 grams per day. Firstly, setting simple goals helps to conserve and focus our willpower, the mental energy that allows us to resist temptation and override our impulses. Research has shown that willpower is a limited resource and that it can be depleted by the demands of daily life. Therefore, it's essential to focus our willpower on the areas of improvement that are most important to us. Secondly, setting clear goals helps to create a sense of clarity and purpose. This can be particularly important when it comes to self-control, as it can be easy to feel overwhelmed or confused by the many demands and distractions of modern life. By setting clear goals, we can create a sense of direction and purpose and a clear path to follow. Thirdly, setting achievable goals helps to build confidence and momentum. This can be particularly important when it comes to self-control, as it can be easy to feel discouraged or frustrated by our past failures or mistakes. By setting achievable goals, we can create a sense of progress and accomplishment and a foundation for future success. Fourthly, setting simple, clear, and achievable goals helps to cultivate a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities and qualities can be developed through dedication and effort. This can be particularly important when it comes to self-control, as it can be easy to view our habits and behaviors as fixed or unchangeable. By setting simple, clear, and achievable goals, we can create a sense of possibility and potential and a willingness to. Finally, setting simple, clear, and achievable goals helps to cultivate a sense of compassion and understanding towards ourselves and others. This can be particularly important when it comes to self-control, as it can be easy to view our habits and behaviors as a reflection of our worth or value. By setting simple, clear, and achievable goals, we can create a sense of kindness and understanding towards ourselves and others, and a recognition of the common humanity that we all share. Lesson 2. Keep a good attitude. Right effort involves putting forth our best effort in all that we do, while also maintaining a sense of balance and equanimity. It is the ability to strike a delicate balance between striving for our goals and being at peace with the present moment. This delicate balance is essential for developing self-control, as it allows us to stay focused and motivated without becoming consumed by our desires and fears. Cultivating a good attitude is a powerful way to support and enhance our efforts to develop self-control. When we face challenges and setbacks, it is easy to become discouraged and lose sight of our goals. However, by maintaining a positive and resilient attitude, we can stay motivated and persevere, even in the face of adversity. One of the most effective ways to cultivate a good attitude is through the practice of mindfulness and gratitude. Mindfulness is the ability to be fully present and aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment or distraction. Gratitude is the ability to recognize and appreciate the blessings and joys in our lives, even in the midst of challenges and difficulties. By practicing mindfulness and gratitude in our daily lives, we can develop a greater sense of contentment and well-being, which will, in turn, help us to stay motivated and focused on our goals. For example, we can start each day by setting an intention to be mindful and grateful, and we can end each day by reflecting on the moments of mindfulness and gratitude that we experienced. Another powerful way to cultivate a good attitude is through the practice of letting go and non-attachment. In Buddhism, it is taught that suffering arises from our clinging and craving for things to be a certain way. By learning to let go of our expectations and attachments, we can develop a greater sense of inner peace and resilience, which will support us in our efforts to master self-control. For example, we can practice the art of accepting and embracing change, rather than resisting and fearing it. We can also practice the art of being content with what we have, rather than constantly striving for more. This does not mean that we should not have goals and aspirations, but rather that we should not allow our goals and aspirations to consume us and rob us of our inner peace and well-being. The practices of mindfulness, gratitude, and non-attachment. There are also several other strategies and techniques that we can use to cultivate and maintain a good attitude. For example, we can surround ourselves with positive and supportive people who uplift and inspire us. We can also engage in activities and hobbies that bring us joy and fulfillment, such as exercise, meditation, music, or art. We can also make a conscious effort to reframe and reinterpret our challenges and setbacks as opportunities for growth and learning. In Buddhism, it is taught that our perceptions and interpretations of reality are often distorted and incomplete. By learning to see our challenges and setbacks from a different perspective, and to reframe them as opportunities for growth and learning, we can develop a greater sense of inner peace and self-control. By practicing the art of mindfulness and gratitude, by learning to let go of our expectations and attachments, and by using the various strategies and techniques that we have discussed, we can develop the inner strength, wisdom, and compassion that we need to achieve inner peace, happiness, and success in our lives. Lesson 3. Learn more about yourself. In the journey towards mastering self-control, the third lesson invites us to delve deeper into the vast and intricate landscape of our own being. In Buddhism, this process of self-discovery and self-understanding is considered essential for achieving inner peace, wisdom, and compassion. Right mindfulness is at the heart of this exploration. It encourages us to cultivate a clear, non-judgmental, and focused awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and actions in the present moment. By doing so, we can gain valuable insights into our patterns of behavior, our strengths and weaknesses, and the underlying motivations that drive us. Mindfulness is the foundation of self-discovery and self-understanding. By being fully present and attentive to our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can develop a greater sense of clarity, insight, and wisdom. To cultivate mindfulness and self-awareness in your daily life, you can practice various forms of meditation, such as the 4 foundations of mindfulness, or the mindfulness of breathing meditation. Additionally, you can also practice mindfulness in your daily activities, such as eating, walking, or working, by being fully present and attentive to the sensations, thoughts, and emotions that arise. Our patterns of behavior are often driven by our desires, fears, and conditioning. By exploring and understanding these patterns, we can gain valuable insights into our own being and develop greater self-control. The process of self-discovery and self-understanding often involves encountering our own weaknesses, mistakes, and failures. By developing self-compassion and self-forgiveness, we can learn to see these aspects of ourselves with kindness, understanding, and acceptance, rather than with criticism, judgment, or rejection. To develop self-compassion and self-forgiveness in your daily life, you can practice the loving-kindness meditation, the self-compassion break exercise, or the forgiveness meditation. Additionally, you can also practice the art of speaking to yourself with kindness, understanding, and encouragement, and of treating yourself with the same care and respect that you would treat a dear friend. A sense of purpose and meaning is essential for achieving inner peace, happiness, and success. By understanding and aligning our thoughts, emotions, and actions with our values, aspirations, and goals, we can develop greater self-control and live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. The journey of self-discovery and self-understanding is a lifelong process, filled with challenges, insights, and transformations. By embracing this journey with curiosity, courage, and compassion, we can develop greater self-control and live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. To embrace the journey of self-discovery and self-understanding in your daily life, you can practice the art of being open and curious about yourself and your experiences, of being willing to face and explore your fears, doubts, and challenges, and of being kind and compassionate towards yourself in moments of weakness, mistake, or failure. Lesson 4. Be kind to yourself if you make mistakes. In our quest for self-mastery and personal growth, it is inevitable that we will encounter setbacks, challenges, and mistakes. In fact, the very nature of growth and learning is rooted in the process of trial and error, of experimentation and exploration, of making mistakes and learning from them. However, all too often, we tend to react to our mistakes and failures with harsh self-criticism, self-blame, and self-judgment. We berate ourselves for our perceived inadequacies and shortcomings, and we allow our inner critic to run wild, tearing us down and undermining our confidence and self-esteem. This reaction, while understandable and even instinctual, is ultimately counterproductive and harmful. Not only does it erode our sense of self-worth and well-being, but it also hinders our ability to learn from our mistakes and to grow and evolve as individuals. The fourth lesson in our journey towards mastering self-control, therefore, is to cultivate a kind, compassionate, and understanding attitude towards ourselves when we make mistakes. In Buddhism, this is closely related to the principle of right speech, which encourages us to speak in a way that is truthful, kind, and beneficial, not only to others but also to ourselves. To be kind and compassionate towards ourselves when we make mistakes, we must first recognize and acknowledge the presence of our inner critic, that harsh, judgmental voice that berates us and undermines our confidence. We must then learn to challenge and question the validity and usefulness of this voice, and to replace it with a kinder, more compassionate, and more constructive inner dialogue. One powerful way to do this is to practice the art of self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness is the process of acknowledging and accepting our mistakes and failures, of taking responsibility for our actions and their consequences, and of extending forgiveness and compassion towards ourselves. In Buddhism, the practice of self-forgiveness is closely related to the principle of right intention, which encourages us to cultivate a sincere and heartfelt intention to learn from our mistakes, to grow and evolve as individuals, and to act in a way that is aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. To practice self-forgiveness, we can begin by acknowledging and accepting our mistakes and failures without judgment or blame. We can then take a moment to reflect on the lessons and insights that these mistakes and failures offer us, and to identify the steps that we can take to rectify the situation and to prevent similar mistakes and failures from happening in the future. We can extend forgiveness and compassion towards ourselves by acknowledging that we are human beings with all the imperfections, weaknesses, and limitations that this entails. We can remind ourselves that making mistakes and experiencing failures is a natural and essential part of the learning and growth process, and that it is through these experiences that we can develop the wisdom, the resilience, and the compassion that we need to navigate the complexities and challenges of life. We can set a clear and heartfelt intention to learn from our mistakes and failures, to grow and evolve as individuals, and to act in a way that is aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. Another powerful way to cultivate a kind and compassionate attitude towards ourselves when we make mistakes is to practice the art of self-compassion. Self-compassion is the practice of extending kindness, understanding, and compassion towards ourselves, especially in moments of difficulty, pain, or failure. In Buddhism, the practice of self-compassion is closely related to the principle of right mindfulness, which encourages us to cultivate a clear, non-judgmental, and compassionate awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. To practice self-compassion, we can begin by acknowledging and accepting our pain, our difficulty, or our failure, without judgment or blame. We can then remind ourselves that we are not alone in our suffering, that all human beings experience pain, difficulty, and failure, and that it is through these experiences that we can develop the wisdom, the resilience, and the compassion that we need to navigate the complexities and challenges of life. We can extend kindness, understanding, and compassion towards ourselves by acknowledging that we are worthy of love, care, and support, especially in moments of difficulty, pain, or failure. We can remind ourselves that it is through the practice of self-compassion that we can develop the inner strength, the inner resilience, and the inner wisdom that we need to grow and evolve as individuals, and to make a positive and meaningful contribution to the world. We can set a clear and heartfelt intention to cultivate a kind, compassionate, and understanding attitude towards ourselves, especially in moments of difficulty, pain, or failure, and to act in a way that is aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. To practice reframing and reinterpreting our mistakes and failures, we can begin by acknowledging and accepting our mistakes and failures without judgment or blame. We can then take a moment to reflect on the lessons and insights that these mistakes and failures offer us, and to identify the steps that we can take to rectify the situation and to prevent similar mistakes and failures from happening in the future. We can reframe and reinterpret our mistakes and failures by learning to see them as opportunities for growth and learning, rather than as evidence of our inadequacy or failure. We can remind ourselves that it is through the process of trial and error, of experimentation and exploration, of making mistakes and learning from them, that we can develop the wisdom, the resilience, and the compassion that we need to navigate the complexities and challenges of life. Another powerful way to cultivate a kind and compassionate attitude towards ourselves when we make mistakes is to practice the art of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is the practice of acknowledging, accepting, and embracing ourselves as we are, with all our imperfections, weaknesses, and limitations. To practice self-acceptance, we can begin by acknowledging and accepting our imperfections, our weaknesses, and our limitations without judgment or blame. We can then remind ourselves that we are human beings with all the imperfections, weaknesses, and limitations that this entails, and that it is through the process of self-acceptance that we can develop the inner strength, the inner resilience, and the inner wisdom that we need to grow and evolve as individuals. We can set a clear and heartfelt intention to cultivate a kind, compassionate, and understanding attitude towards ourselves, especially in moments of difficulty, pain, or failure, and to act in a way that is aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. Lesson 5. Understand that making mistakes is part of being successful. To truly understand and internalize this lesson, it is essential to first recognize and challenge our own beliefs and assumptions about mistakes and failure. In many societies and cultures, mistakes and failure are often viewed as signs of weakness, incompetence, or lack of character. As a result, we may develop a deep-seated fear of making mistakes, which can lead to procrastination, avoidance, and self-sabotage. To counteract this unhealthy and limiting mindset, we can draw upon the wisdom of Buddhism, which teaches us that mistakes and failure are not only inevitable, but also valuable and necessary for our growth and learning. In the words of the Buddha, The only real failure in life is not to be true to the best one knows. By recognizing and embracing the inherent value and necessity of mistakes and failure, we can begin to cultivate a more compassionate, curious, and courageous mindset, one that is open to new experiences, willing to take risks, and able to learn and grow from setbacks and challenges. One powerful way to cultivate this mindset is to practice the art of self-reflection and mindful inquiry. By regularly setting aside time to reflect on our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and to explore the underlying beliefs, assumptions, and motivations that shape them, we can develop a greater sense of self-awareness and self-understanding, which in turn will help us to make more conscious, skillful, and compassionate choices in our lives. Another powerful way to cultivate a more compassionate, curious, and courageous mindset towards mistakes and failure is to practice the art of storytelling and story sharing. In Buddhism, it is taught that our lives are like a vast and intricate tapestry, woven from the threads of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and that by sharing our stories and experiences with others, we can not only deepen our own understanding and compassion, but also inspire and uplift others. To practice the art of storytelling and story sharing, we can seek out opportunities to share our own stories and experiences of mistakes and failure with others, whether it be in a formal setting, such as a workshop or a conference, or in an informal setting, such as a conversation with a friend or a family member. When sharing our stories and experiences, it is important to be honest, vulnerable, and compassionate, and to focus on the lessons and insights that we have gained, rather than on the details of the mistakes and failures themselves. By doing so, we can not only deepen our own understanding and appreciation of the role of mistakes and failure in our lives, but also inspire and uplift others, and create a more compassionate, curious, and courageous culture and society. To sharing our own stories and experiences of mistakes and failure, we can also seek out and listen to the stories and experiences of others, whether it be through books, podcasts, or personal conversations. By doing so, we can not only gain valuable insights and perspectives, but also deepen our own understanding and compassion, and create a more supportive, inclusive, and diverse community and society. To truly understand and embrace the fact that making mistakes is a natural and essential part of being successful, it is essential to cultivate a sense of purpose, meaning, and direction in our lives. In Buddhism, it is taught that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, from our own sense of peace, wisdom, and compassion, and from living a life that is aligned with our deepest values, aspirations, and potential. By living a life that is guided by these principles, and by regularly setting and reviewing our goals and priorities, we can not only develop a greater sense of purpose, meaning, and direction in our lives, but also stay motivated, focused, and resilient, even in the face of mistakes, setbacks, and challenges. Mastering self-control is a lifelong journey that requires mindfulness, discipline, and a deep understanding of oneself. By incorporating the principles of Buddhism into our daily lives, we can cultivate inner peace, clarity, and ultimately achieve a greater sense of self-mastery. Remember, self-control is not about suppressing our desires, but rather about understanding and transcending them. Embrace the path of self-discovery, and may you find harmony and balance within yourself. May you all be blessed with the strength and wisdom to master self-control, and in turn, lead a life that is a true reflection of your highest potential. May you all be happy, healthy, and peaceful.